Welcome to Keeper, sponsored by Sprint. Get ready for fantasy advice from someone who kept Michael Bush on the bench. We'll start with Week 1 shockers. The pleasant surprise of the week, of course, is Kevin Ogletree, the hot waiver wire pickup that naturally went to someone else in your league. On the other side of the coin is D'Angelo Williams. With Jonathan Stewart out, he faced a Bucks defense that was one of the worst in the league and finished with negative rushing yards. No, that's cool, D. I didn't want to win any fantasy games this year anyway. I always recommend abstaining from trades for the first month of the season, but for those of you who are itching to make moves, let's go to the trading block. This week, I'm selling high on 3 running backs with big performances in Week 1. Kevin Smith opened the season with 91 total yards and 2 scores, the perfect output to move him before he gets injured and or replaced by Michael LaShore, who comes back from suspension in Week 3. Also sell on Ufford Morris. 96 yards and 2 TDs makes for a nice fantasy score, but I'd be concerned about his 3.4 yards per carry and 0 targets out of the backfield. Evan Royster and Roy Helu are both better pass catchers, and you just know Mike Shanahan's waiting to stab innocent fantasy owners in the back. That's what he does. He's evil. And because I'm crazy, I'd sell on Darren McFadden. The man is a dream if you have a PPR league, but he's the Raiders' only true weapon, and they're going to ride him till the wheels fall off. I'd flip him while he's healthy. This week I'm buying low on wideouts. Victor Cruz. 3 drops a game does not unmake him a star. Wes Welker. There are serious concerns after he caught just 3 passes for 14 yards. But even if he doesn't catch 100 passes this year, he's still going to bounce back to be a decent start at wideout. And Dexter McCluster. He led the team with 6 receptions and 82 yards on 10 targets, but probably isn't owned in your league. That's sexy value. Go get him. And now the reality check, where we evaluate the advice I gave last week. Don't overthink it. Don't give Darren Sproles a start over Adrian Peterson just because you're worried about the holy purple knee. Oh, what's that? Adrian Peterson at 87 yards and 2 touchdowns 8 months after shredding his knee? Man, I'm good at this. I can't believe the show is free. But for real, hit me up on Twitter if my advice goes wrong. This segment works way better when I get humiliated. Time for Sprint Unlimited Upside, the one player destined for fantasy success. This week I like Arian Foster at Jacksonville. The Jaguars couldn't stop Purple Jesus last week, and Foster plays in an offense with a better line and better weapons. Thanks, Jags. You always make this easy. Let's go to Isaac with the weather.
And that's how clouds come from. Thanks, Matt. This Sunday in Arizona, it's going to be a blistering 100 degrees Fahrenheit. But the Cardinals are traveling to fight the New England Patriots in Foxborough, Massachusetts, a place where the cider is always simmering, the leaves are always falling, and the air is as crisp as a Granny Smith apple. We'll see how the Cardinals do against the cold, dark tundra that is Bill Belichick's heart chambers. Back to you.
Hire and fire. 3 players you should pick up and 3 you should fire into space before they poison your roster with their not being good at football-itis. I'm serious, it's contagious. At wide receiver, hire Randall Cobb and fire Greg Little. The Packers wideout had 77 yards on 9 targets in Week 1 and lined up in the backfield several times. It's clear that the Pack want to make him a part of the offense, and with Greg Jennings hobbled by a groin injury for Thursday's game, Cobb's role will be increased. Add him and start him. As for Little, he caught 0 passes in Week 1, or 4 fewer than the opposing defense. Even if Brandon Weeden improves, I don't like Little's ceiling. Drop him. At quarterback, hire Alex Smith and fire Josh Freeman. I make fun of Smith's tiny hands, but he's a capable game manager on a good team, which makes him a better QB2 than, say, Freeman, who threw for a whopping 138 yards in Week 1, but is still owned in 83% of leagues. Who are you people? Stop that. And at running back, straight up drop Beanie Wells and pick up Jonathan Dwyer. Wells is splitting time with Ryan Williams in a lousy offense on a bad team, and he's got a gimpy hamstring. What's he going to do on your roster besides collect dust? Dwyer, on the other hand, will have an expanded role in Week 2 after looking great against the tough Broncos D. He's a good flex play in deep leagues. That's it for Week 2. If you need more fantasy talk, remember to check out the Fantasy War Room at SB Nation. Your outside activity of the week? Watch a sunset and try not to Instagram it. It never looks good and no one likes it. Set your lineups. I'll see you next week.